Hi, everybody. It's Matt from Discover College Soccer. I hope you're enjoying the podcast, whether that's on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I also wanted to let you know about the Discover College Soccer Study Table. This is our brand new online portal that is complete with a 14-part online course giving you all of the ins and outs of the college soccer recruiting process. There's also a wealth of resources such as checklists, templates. There's the spreadsheets that have every soccer program in the country, along with their coaches, their contact information, their social media information, some basic stats about the school, and more. Plus, there's an online community where you can ask your questions, share your wins, your losses, any questions that you may have around the college soccer recruiting process. It's all there at the Discover College Soccer study table that you can find at discovercollegesoccer.com/study table, and hopefully we will see you there. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Paul from New England College. Welcome, Coach.
Thank you, Matt. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for being here. You are the women's coach up there. You get Division III program in New Hampshire. Um, couldn't be much further from me down here in Florida, but that's all right. Hopefully the weather's treating you well.
Yes, it is.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we're talking here. It's mid-June. You know, when it comes to recruiting, I'm guessing your 23 class is wrapped up, right? I mean, school starts in a couple months. So
Yep.
what's your normal calendar in terms of how many classes you recruit at once? When do you start? When is the bulk of it happening? What's that look like for you guys?
So, we're always looking for good players. So, yes, our 23 class is wrapped up, but we never stop looking, right? You always want to improve your team, so you always pay attention to what's going on. So for us, we really started on our class of 24 in the fall. Kind of collecting names and garnering see who's interested. And then slowly kind of get to see them play through that kind of November, that first round of tournaments after, for us up here, our high school soccer's in the fall. So, and our season's ending, so we get a few tournaments to really see the 24s. Kind of try to narrow that down a little bit, and see if we can get some students on campus for the spring. And then that next set of tournaments really for us starts up at the end of February. So we're really at that point trying to narrow that class down. So we know who we want to have on campus, invite to ID days, stuff like that, because as they roll into their senior year and our season gets going, things are crazy. So we want to try to be as proactive as we can for them.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, you mentioned the different events and things. Being up there in New England, I mean, what are some of the major events that you kind of have on your hit list each year?
Yeah, so for us, we're very close to Massachusetts, and they have, quite a few tournaments going on. We always look at EDP tournaments. We try to, get ECNL R league games. Those are a big one for us. So it could involve a ECNL tournament in New Jersey. We do travel. We've been very successful going out west to Las Vegas. ECNL Houston has been a big event for us. So those are the ones that we go out for. But they're the ones up here are really the EDP events. And then clubs hold their FC Stars, have a nice event that they do in November. We try to get over to Massapequa and Long Island. That's not too far for us. So, as much as we are here in kind of a good location, we do venture around, and we do have a roster of kids from around the country and around the world. So
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty cool. Well, when you're at these events, I'm sure there's kids reaching out to you all the time saying, "Hey, coach, interested in your school, would love to come have you come watch me play, etc." So, eh, what what would you say is the split of when you're in an event of, games that you're going to see someone who has contacted you already versus games you're going to see hoping for the best?
Yeah, I think kids that, student athletes that write us, we're going to get to 100% of their games. I'm pretty lucky. I have a great grad assistant and an assistant coach who's been with me for 10 years. So we're able to kind of split duties and make sure we're getting to games from the student athlete that writes us. We feel that's very important. Um, and then along the way, because of the three of us, we can kind of get to other games in between games. When we go to see said player that wrote us, we, are watching other players as well. So I think, for us, it ends up being kind of 50-50 of kids that have written us that will come, and then 50, the other half will be kids that we've seen, that we like, that we reach out to, that, that become interested. I think being in a small school, being a Division III school, being surrounded by, many Division III schools in New England, those kids are writing a lot of different coaches. So we understand that, but we want to make sure we're doing our due diligence. We never write anybody off. We want to go see them play.
Okay. Well, you mentioned ID days. So are ID camps at your school, or do you guys work other camps? How important are those in your recruiting?
We'll work some of the bigger camps between myself and my assistant. We'll get out to an exact camp, Future 500. If coaches ask us locally to attend, we do that. But then, our ID day, for us, we're not looking to make money. We're looking to bring in kids that are interested in New England college, that want to, explore it as a viable option. So we try to keep that number. We only have a couple, maybe three a year. So we're keeping that number between 12 and 20, because we want to give them the individual attention that they deserve. If they show interest in us, we want to reciprocate that. We want to be able to have conversations. We want to be able to coach them, see how they like the environment. Our team is very good at working these events. They understand, to keep the program flourishing, we need to bring in recruits. So they want to meet them. They want to see what they're about. And, at the end of the day, it's about goodness of fit. We want to make sure that they fit what we're looking for, and we fit what they're looking for.
Well, you mentioned fit. So whether it's at a camp or at an event or anything, kind of what is your hierarchy of things that you're looking for in a player to make that good fit, whether it's on the field stuff or off the field stuff?
I think for us is, at the end of the day, we're a Division III program. Players aren't really going professional. They have careers afterwards, and that's what we want to make sure that we're developing. We want to develop strong, independent young women, and hopefully our program, we've done that, and we want to keep doing that. So we want leaders. We want young women who want to come in and be a part of something and leave their mark. Be leaders, taking the bull by the horns, if you will. We're looking for hard workers. We're looking for competitors. So that's kind of our hierarchy. So it's, leaders, strong character, hard workers, athletic, and we'll get the soccer piece down.
All right, all right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. I'm sure there's folks out there maybe not familiar with New England College. So you've been there a few years as the head
Yeah.
coach.
Yep.
So you
Yep.
got some really good insight for us. So give me some of the things that really stick out to you that make the school what it is, maybe some things we wouldn't learn just by going through the website.
Yeah, I think we're a small school. Uh, we want to meet each individual where they're at academically. I think from an academic standpoint, we do a lot of experiential learning. If you come to be a teacher, you're going to be in a classroom your freshman year. You're going to see what it's like to, maybe be in a kindergarten class and then be in a high school class. You might have ideas that you want to teach a certain grade, and then, sophomore year, you're in a different class and you like that. Criminal justice is a big one. very well connected. We've had players, in the police force, Homeland Security, FBI. They do a great job of placing the students, and even while they're here, they get to go on ride-alongs or work in a police station. They do a great tour of DC and a behind-the-scenes look in the Pentagon and the CIA. Our health sciences. This is my huge bragging point. We produce 7 doctors for my program. So, you don't have to go to Harvard and Tufts and all those to achieve your dream if that's not for you. You can meet those dreams coming to New England College and being a doctor. We have PAs, and I think it does a really good job of meeting the individual. Small class size, your professors. Even though we're in the only Henniker on earth, there's a lot of different ways to get exposure and internships. At the end of the day, we're an hour from Boston, 45 minutes from the ocean and the mountains, and I think our location really works for students that kind of want to get away but can get to places. So I think our draw, is kind of meeting the individual where they're at and producing young adults that are going to be productive later on in life.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I mean, you mentioned the academic component. So, for new student athletes, especially going into college, figuring out that balance of their sport and their studies can be tough. So, how do your student athletes really make sure that they've got that balance, and what kind of support systems does the school offer to help them?
Yeah, I think, we have this conversation through the recruiting process, and we're looking for students first, right? If you can get your work done, there's less issues. We all understand that time management, going to college for the first time is hard. So what we have in place is we have an academic game plan that between myself and my staff, we're meeting with first years on a weekly basis, and in a formal sense, making sure they're up to speed on things. We also, I'm not a big study hall person. I don't believe that forcing students to go to the library is the way to do it. We try to build that. We built it within our culture. Team GPA is always around a 3.5, so that's pretty exciting for us. And so, the upperclassmen really kind of push the underclassmen and help them along. And they've all taken classes that the freshmen are in, so they can help. We have a faculty advisor as well as and as well as a mentor. So the faculty member is there. He's a soccer guy. He's a professor in our criminal justice department, and he'll meet and talk and kind of help people figure out what's going on if they have questions. We have a mentor that, is more than willing to sit and read papers and, make sure that the work is where it needs to be. And my philosophy on and off the field is, we're not just going to give you answers. We're going to help you. We're going to facilitate. We're going to support. But at the end of the day, they need to want their education. They need to define their education. They need to define their role on the team as a soccer player. And we're going to be there, and we're going to get feedback, positive and constructive, and, help develop them into independent learners, questioners, problem solvers. That's the goal.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's fast forward to the fall. It's in season. Kind of walk me through what a typical week would look like for the players in terms of winter classes, meals, practice times, game cadence, all that kind of thing.
Yep. So exciting. We're joining a new conference this year, the Great North Atlantic Conference. 16 teams in there. So we got 15 scheduled conference games. So that's going to be new for us. But what it does do is gives us a Wednesday, Saturday schedule that we can really be planful around, and kind of, periodization on the field. So as a coach, that's exciting for me. Being able to implement something like that where it's not so hectic. But, so Monday class, we'll try to get something in the morning as far as lifting. And then it's usually a recovery day because we'll play Saturday. We've been lucky that we have 4 o'clock practices pretty much all week, even though we're splitting the field with men's soccer and field hockey. But we've been lucky enough to get that. So, we make sure schedules are made so everybody's out of class by then. So we'll practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is a game day. We're trying to, I think, again, with classes, most schools look to play at night. So most of our Wednesday games will be at 7 p.m. It kind of eliminates a lot of classes being missed, which is good. And, Thursday, Friday, we're back at 4 o'clock training with some lifting going on Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday we're playing again. And then Sunday's a day off. With the 4 o'clock practice schedule, for meals, it's great. They're not missing anything or kind of out of whack. They're able to have a regular breakfast, regular lunch, and then when they're done training, they have the dining hall doesn't close till 7:30, so they don't need to rush. They can relax, get their bodies ready to refuel and go. So
Okay. Sounds good. Well, let's shift gears, talk a little bit more about the team. Um, is there a roster size that you try to hit that you like to have each year?
yeah, I think me, I like having about 32 4 goalies. So, we're down to about 28 field players. We've been larger in the past, which is difficult, but you have to do some things, to help out. And we had JV teams or reserve teams and played games for them. But 32 for us is kind of where we like to be. These seasons, they're short in days, but long in physical and mental, preparation. So, we'll go this year. We had 32. We had some ACLs, we had some concussion issues, then your normal bumps and bruises, and we're going to play a mid-September game with 16 healthy players. And it's just one of those things. It was a interesting year, but we were still able to train. We're still able to be competitive in training, and it also allows us development. I think for programs to be successful, we're always looking for impact freshmen, and you earn everything you get. But there is a transition period for some of these athletes, and we don't want to just stick them out there, to drown. So we want to make sure we're developing them, and that way we're not, we're never like rebuilding. We're just, that it's the next player up. We graduate this many. All right, we have players to fill those spots, and we can have a productive spring season, which, these kids are used to playing year round now. And, at the Division III model, it's not necessarily year round, as far as where the coaching is coming from. So when we are able to train, we want to make sure we have players to train and get ready for the fall, because it's really a building block for us. That's how we use our spring season. So, this year we were lucky enough. We had 18 in the spring, so we're coming back, 18, and got to fill some spots. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you mentioned earlier about your staff and being able to share a lot of that recruiting stuff with them. So, how big is your staff? What role does everybody play? What kind of support staff do you also use within the athletic department that help with the team?
Yeah, so we're lucky. We have a athletic trainer that is specifically for women's soccer. So that trainer is with us all year. It's, they really get to know the student athlete. They get to know their quirks and everything. And that's the same for the athletes. They can feel comfortable with one trainer, how they're getting taped, what information they feel they can give and not give, and to be ready to play. So that's a huge one. We're in the process of our strength and conditioning coach left, so we're in the process of bringing another one in. So that's always exciting to have, that resource for our players. And then as far as the coaching staff, it's myself, and then I have a grad assistant that's a 2-year cycle. And I've had 3. We've only had it. This is the fourth cycle, and 3 of the cycles have been ex-players. And I think they know what our school's about. They know the intricacies and what it's like to be a student athlete. They also know what it's like to play for me. And they can pass that knowledge on to the players, which, not only in the recruiting process, but once they're here, really kind of is key for us. My assistant coach, Tom McGinnis, has been with me going on 11 years now. I mean, he is 100% committed. He's able to be at everything. He's also our keeper coach. So our keepers get individual training every day. And so they have their own guy they can go to. They can, really flourish in that sense. And then when we bring them back, he kind of works with the defenders and the communication and all that with our keepers. So, that's nice. And then we have a volunteer assistant who makes most of our things, but it's just a different set of eyes, and the team really enjoys him. He kind of gives the individual kind of feedback as practice is going on and talking to players. So, I can really focus on the big picture and the things that we want to get accomplished. And, they're great. I learn from them. Hopefully, they get something from me too, so it's good.
Okay. Well, in terms of you as a coach, how would you describe your coaching style and overall team style of play?
Well, I started this as a younger man. And so you have to be willing to learn and understand where you can improve and focus on your strengths. I definitely was a little bit more outgoing as a younger coach. We'll put it that way. And over the years, I think I've realized that, we're going to be better served if I'm that guy during training and allow our players to play. Demand excellence, reach for the stars kind of thing in practice, and during the games they should be ready to play, and it's just guidance through that. I'm a teacher by trade, so I want to make sure that our players are put in a learning safe environment so they can take risks, they can become better players, they can try things that aren't necessarily to script. We ask questions. They have to play the game. I can't play it for them, so they need to be able to solve problems. So we make sure we're making those challenges in training. And what do you see? How do you see? Why do you play that ball in the air? Could you have played it on the ground? And getting their feedback. How's our shape? This is what I'm thinking. Where are you going? So I think some days it's a little bit we tend to ask a lot of questions, and I got to be ready for that. But at the end of the day, they want to learn, they want to get better. And again, I want them to be problem solvers.
Okay. Well, you've given us a lot of info, Coach, and I appreciate all your time. But one last question that I like to end these on, and that's if you had one piece of advice, one nugget that you'd love all parents, players, anybody going through this college recruitment process to know, what would that be?
Can I give you 2?
Go right ahead.
All right. I think the first one is that everybody's process is different during the recruiting, and you have to make it your own. You can't be looking to, your club teammates or your high school teammates or whatever it is. It's got to be your own, and you got to pick the place that you're going to be happy no matter what, whether you're playing soccer, not playing soccer, whether it's D1, D2, D3. All divisions have great things to offer. You just have to know where you fall as far as how you want soccer to play a part of your college experience. And then the last thing to any player, come fit. Coaches give out workout programs, and they need to be followed to a certain, you need to be ready to play because preseason's hard. It's hot. You're transitioning to new coaches, new people, new food, new sleeping, all that. If you're fit, the bumps and bruises, you can control a little bit. You heal a little bit quicker. Your mind doesn't start racing. You can kind of focus on being the player that you want to be, as opposed to wondering if you're going to make it through a test or, a double session. So that's advice I give to everybody, that every recruit I talk to, both of those pieces. So
Yeah, I love there was an old, I think it was a Reebok ad with Emmett Smith back in the day. Is all players are created equal. Some just work harder in the preseason, right? And then,
yep,
yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Exactly.
Well, Coach, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Wish you the best of luck in the fall. And if you ever get to any of the recruiting events down here in Bradenton, give me a shout and we'll get together. All right.
All right, I appreciate it, Matt.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.